Welcome back, everyone, and it's been a while since I've made a video, but I've been kind of busy because I got married. Now this message is a thank you to Duarte over at Duarte Studios for building a piece that was actually for my wedding. I know a lot of people that purchase items from Duarte for their action figure displays. I got to meet him at a con, and I bought some pieces from him. I wish I could have bought more, but I was traveling and didn't have enough room in my suitcase. But I've had the chance to get to know Duarte over the last couple of years. We did a couple of live streams together whenever he had some new projects. So just one genuinely nice person. I haven't met too many people in the toy community outside of YouTube. So to actually meet someone face to face, talk to them, and they turn out to be a nice person, it's kind of a win-win. So just to give a little backstory on what I asked Duarte to make, first of all, I just want to premise, I sent him a few pictures. I really didn't tell him what it was or what the significance was. And I mean, he took it to task and got it done and did an amazing job. So, you're gonna hear me say thank you a lot, but the amount of gratitude that I felt for him doing this piece for me, and not the typical request, I'm sure, because he's probably getting a lot of requests for action figure stuff, right? I mean, that is kind of his bread and butter, and I see a lot of people with different Duarte items in their collection, but this one is different. And I'll say it's different because as collectors in our collection space, when we buy something and we put it in our collection room, it's really for us, right? So anything, I think that what most people have bought from Duarte is a piece for them individually. This piece has significance amongst my friend group, where I knew when they'd see this, this wasn't just for my happiness. This was going to be for all of those people, people's enjoyment or their happiness as well. And so I'll give a little backstory on what this actually is. Outside of toys, I go to a lot of music festivals, living that party lifestyle. I don't know for how much longer, but one of the big festivals that we go to is in Michigan, and it's called Electric Forest. I don't know if anyone that watches my show has ever been to Electric Forest, but it is an experience like no other. So it's a mixture of dance music, bands. The spectrum's wide of what you can experience at Electric Forest, but the cool part about Electric Forest is that, yes, there's the music, there's the headliners, but to get from one stage to the next, you have to walk through the woods. Like, you have to experience the forest during the day. At nighttime, it comes to life with everything being lit up, so it looks completely different. And it's always just been this kind of magical place for myself, my wife, and then our whole giant group of friends. So as you're walking from one stage to the next and you walk through the forest, there's all of these art installations that are set up, and a lot of photo ops. So you see a lot of couples taking photos underneath this piece right here, and it's just one of those picture perfect backgrounds, for any couple, really. So there's probably about 10 or 12 couples at our wedding that we travel with. We've gone to a million festivals together, and we have a big group photo in front of this thing, and then we also have a bunch of individual couple photos. I'm not going to put everyone's couple photo up on the internet, but I'll put mine and my wife's up. Hopefully she doesn't get mad. But a lot of people have met their significant other at this festival. A lot of people have, gotten engaged underneath this piece. And it's just one of those things where I wanted to kind of commemorate that. And for all those couples coming to the wedding, I knew that when they saw this, that they would light up, right? So this is not just for my happiness. I knew all of those couples, when they've seen this piece, would immediately be brought back to the moment where they were at that music festival and they took a picture with their significant other underneath the real thing. So to have this in miniature form at the wedding, where I know a lot of those couples have met or fallen in love, that was kind of a big thing for me. So back when I asked Duarte if he could do this, I really just sent him a few photos, and I didn't tell anything about it or what it was, but he took it on. And Luckily, my brother doesn't live too far away from him. He was able to pick up the piece as he was driving down for my wedding from New York to Florida. We originally wanted to have our wedding in Michigan at the festival grounds because the festival's in the summer, but then for the rest of the year, it's just a regular park or ranch that anyone can go to, but they leave all the artwork in the forest. So we had kind of dreams or ambitions of getting married at Electric Forest during an off, not festival time. And we just thought it was going to be kind of a logistical nightmare getting family members there. So we opted to have it here locally in Florida. But I did want to bring a piece of Electric Forest to our wedding. And one of the cool things about Electric Forest is there's all these cool art experiences in the forest, and one of them is kind of like a scavenger hunt, but you look out for these little fairy houses where you open the door. There's a cool kind of diorama inside, and people leave notes or trinkets in there. So since we weren't having our wedding at Electric Forest, I kind of wanted to bring that experience to the wedding. I had 3 different fairy houses of things that we love. We love Halloween, and more importantly, we love Halloween Horror Nights at Universal. So we had a little fairy house with that. I actually put some NECA Ben Cooper figures in there. And then we had a hippie van, which is actually similar to one that is at the Real Music Festival. And Duarte actually gave me that RV van. It was a piece of tin metal art, and I took it, repainted it, but he just kind of gifted me that, which was awesome when I met him in person. I think the really cool thing about that is I kind of told him what I was trying to do. I didn't explain the why or the what behind it. And he knew that I was going to be at a toy show, and this is where I'm saying he's just a genuinely nice person. He had that RV. He said, "Hey, I knew you were going to be here, so I brought this for you." And just the thoughtfulness, I think, is what really solidifies when you don't know someone. What's that threshold between someone being a decent person and or they write you off. For me, that was just such a nice gesture, and the fact that he thought Thomas is going to be at this show, let me bring this thing for him. It was super nice, and you can't ask for that. That just kind of happens naturally. So a thank you for that as well. So I did the Halloween one, I did the hippie van, and then I did a little tiki hut because we love tiki culture. I have too many hobbies outside of toys, music festivals, tiki, all expensive, by the way. But we had little pieces of our interest at the wedding. People were putting notes inside. And then the last and fourth and final piece that I wanted was something to kind of have that Electric Forest, representation. And that's what this piece is. So I'm going to flip the camera around and we'll talk about it some more. But, that is really the significance of it. I wanted something that was not just going to live in my toy room. I commissioned him something that would not just make me ecstatic, but I knew every couple that saw this on that day, they fell in love with it. I knew some people, when they saw this, they cried. And Duarte, if you're watching, I don't know if a piece that you've ever made has made someone cry, but I just want you to know there were some couples that saw this and started breaking down in tears. So a testament to your amazing work. I appreciate your friendship, even though we've only met a couple times. You could have said, no, I can't do this, but you did it for me. So yeah, just wanted to do this. Thank you. Let me flip the camera around real quick and then we'll talk about it. Okay, here's a closer look at this piece. And, I probably said it again, so I'm probably repeating myself, but for me, this is not a diorama piece that's going to sit in my toy collection room. This is a work of art. And this is actually something that we're keeping in our main living space. Like, this is going to be in the living room where whenever we host people at the house, they're going to be able to see this. And a lot of those friends that have been to this music festival, I know that this is bringing those memories back for them. So I think it's unique in the sense where most of the things that you might have bought from Duarte really go in your toy room, in your displays. This is not one of those. This is something that will live in that main area, so for all to see. And I know this makes a lot of people happy other than myself. So Duarte made the heart hands with the tree limbs. I made the base real quick. This was going to be moved around a lot by probably the wedding coordinators or whatever, so I was not risking this thing falling over because I knew I wanted to keep this for, years and years to come. So I made this base real quick, and it kind of mimics, the walking path had like sawdust on it or wood chips, in case it got muddy. So I just did some hay and I had some static grass, but everything else Duarte did. He did the main part. And I made those other 3 fairy houses that I mentioned, but I just did not trust myself to execute this the way that I thought it needed to be done, which is why I tapped Duarte to do this. And again, forever grateful. But he nailed it. He nailed it. And for me, only sending him a few pictures, not giving him any, I guess, context of what the heck this thing is, he knocked it out of the park. So, and I'll say it again and again, this is something that will live out my living room whenever my friends come over that have been to this festival with me. They'll see it, and I know it'll bring them that little bit of joy. So we'll get closer. Let's look at some of the details. Now, for the actual arms of the piece, I love what he did. First of all, he angled it perfectly, which when it comes to diorama building, I suck at angling stuff. But the wood just looks super natural. It looks like a tree coming out of the earth, which he just nailed it. And, he has his different style. So knowing his other work, I knew he'd be able to pull this off where I did not trust myself to do this. He absolutely did a fantastic job there. But for me, this is kind of where the money is, because this is the heart and soul of this art piece, right? It's a hippie festival. I'll just put it that way. Peace and love, all that good stuff. But this thing, it really is. It's a landmark in terms of people that have been to that music festival. They see this and they automatically know what this is. He nailed all the different colors of the flowers that are on there perfectly. You can tell just by looking at it. These are arms, and then these are the hands. So fantastic. There's no way, at least in my mind, that I would have been able to pull this off. So I don't know what it took for him to get these flowers on individually. I imagine it was tedious. So huge. I can't thank enough. But that looked like a big undertaking, but he captured the essence of this spot that exists somewhere out in the world in Michigan. So just really beautiful. Imagine walking through the woods on a normal day, not in a music festival where you're not expecting to see this, and this is just in the woods and you walk underneath it, right? It almost feels like you're walking into some sort of Garden of Eden or some paradise or something. But he nailed it. I love it, and it's beautiful. I also didn't realize how big he was going to make this, but I don't think he knew what I was going to use it for either, but he did make it 1/12 scale, which is amazing. So if I ever did have figures of myself and my wife, which I do, I have the selfie series. She hates hers, I love mine. But if I ever did want to display this with figures of us underneath here, I could do that. So I think my expectations was it was going to be smaller, and I didn't know he was going to go all out. But I think just from the quality of work that he does, I probably should have expected him to, not half-ass anything. I mean, when Duarte does something, he does it right. He does it amazing. So, but beyond expectations, this thing came out amazing. And, maybe if I find some figures with some of our crazy rave outfits, I'll put us underneath there. But I have that option, and I love it. And folks, this is it. This is a one-of-a-kind Duarte Studios diorama. I'm just going to call it an art piece because that's what it is to me. It is a work of art, and I'm not sure if it's the weirdest request he's ever gotten, but I will say if I could make an assumption that this is one piece that he's made that has not just made the buyer happy, but has made other people extremely happy when they saw it. So Duarte, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Really appreciate you doing this for me. I'm going to go put this back up high in the living room where everybody can see, and appreciate it. So for those of you that checked it out, or you haven't seen Duarte's work, which how have you not, definitely go check him out. He makes amazing things for action figures mostly. I don't think he does a lot of wedding commissions, but there's always a first. So hope you all have a good weekend, and we'll catch you next time. Bye now.